So y'all gonna hop in this time machine with a pimp, and we gonna journey back to the year 2004, and we gonna slide over to the city of Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles to be exact, and we gonna swing to the location of Men's Central Jail, better known to y'all as the infamous, treacherous, trifling, raggedy Los Angeles County Jail. So buckle on up, man, because it's gonna be an interesting ride. But first, wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored.
Okay.
I'm so sick of these.
So it's Friday, March 5th, 2004, a day that I will never ever forget. When me and my brother Smooth got snatched off the streets, man. In cold fashion. I have to tell y'all that part of the story later on. But that's to set the tone of my journey in the LA County Jail during that time. So I ended up spending 8 months there, fighting my case. I ended up going to prison. But while I was in LA County Jail, I spent about 3 months in 9300, which is the 9,000 floor. Now, for those of y'all who, most of y'all probably don't know, but back then, during that time, early 2000s, the 9,000 floor was a trustee floor. So all the dorms, which is 5 dorms, 9100 through 9500, was all trustee dorms during this time, right? So needless to say, I was a trustee on the 9,000 floor, 9300 to be exact. So, when I first got there, it was a brother by the name of Johnson. Now, Johnson was an older cat. Mind you, I'm 22 years old at the time. Johnson was probably in his early 30s, so to me, he's an older cat. And Johnson was somewhat affiliated with the Harlem 30s, you know, original Harlem Crip rolling 30s, but he didn't really bang. He didn't really push that. You know, Johnson was a brother. He was on Swole, had waves, you know, real cool. Everybody respected him. He had, if I ain't mistaken, he had been in the county fighting this case for probably a couple years. You know, all the CO or all the sheriff deputies, everybody respected Johnson, right? And so when I first got there, Johnson was the MAC rep for the blacks, which again, for those of y'all who don't know what a MAC rep is, every race or group has what's called a MAC rep, which is the mouthpiece for that group. The Paisas have a MAC rep. The Woods, which is the white boys, have a MAC rep. The Southerners or the Sureños, they have a MAC rep. And the blacks, we have a MAC rep. And the others fall in with us. The others meaning Pacific Islanders and Asians mostly. So Johnson was the MAC rep for us, right? And you know, like I said, I was in the dorm with him for, you know, probably a little over 2 months. So then Johnson finally catches the chain. And when Johnson was catching the chain, everybody like, well, who gonna be the MAC rep? Now at that time, I had been one of the people who had been in that dorm the longest. You know, in the trustee dorms, it's a revolving door. Cats always constantly coming and going. So there's not very many people who stay in a trustee dorm for months unless they fighting their case and they got it smooth, they locked in, they good up in there. You know, most people kind of like move around a lot. So by the time Johnson was ready to catch the chain, I was one of the people who had been in the dorm the longest, right? And even though I was a young cat, most of the people in there respected me. You know, I kind of knew how the program was in there. Everything was smooth. So when Johnson was catching the chain, everybody asking, like, you know, who's going to be the MAC rep? So Johnson, I didn't ask, I didn't volunteer. Johnson suggested that I be the MAC rep. And when Johnson suggested that, it was a few other people that co-signed it, right? And they had been in the dorm for quite some time as well, probably as long as me, maybe some even a little bit longer. But when Johnson suggested that I be the Mac rep, a few other cats agreed and nobody objected. At least not outwardly, not vocally. They objected inwardly, and I'll get to that in a minute. But pretty much it was no objection. So I ended up becoming the Mac rep when Johnson caught the chain to the penitentiary. So now I'm the Mac rep, right? So, everything running smooth up in there. It's the trustee dorm, so it's usually not a lot of drama. Sometimes it go down in the trustee dorm, but for the most part, it's not as dangerous, or I can't say that. It can be dangerous, but let's just say it's not as active as, say, the 2,000 floor, the 3,000 floor, the 4,000 floor, the 5,000 floor at that time, right? So I'm the Mac rep, everything cool, right? We programming everything cool. So this one young cat comes into the dorm, and I believe he was from the 30s. He was from Harlem 30s, not Harlem, New York, right? Which is a set in Los Angeles, for those of y'all who don't know. So this cat, he was younger than me. I was 22 at the time. He might have been like 19 or 20, right? Little young dude. So he come in there. He cool, right? He been in there for probably like maybe a couple weeks. Everything cool with this cat, right? So it was, so each race takes turns cleaning the dorm, right? So one day it'll be the blacks' turn to clean the dorm, and we'll, sweep them off the floors. We'll clean the bathroom, the showers, all the shit, right? So whoever's turn it is to clean the dorm, everybody else is on bunk status, meaning you on your bed while they clean, right? So, but okay, it's the blacks, it's our turn to clean the dorm, so everybody else on bunk status. But before we cleaned, the Southsiders had their meeting in the shower. As the SAs are walking out of their meeting and it's time for us to clean, the youngster bum rushes the shower, right? And he go in there and take a shower. Now, we was kind of on him a little bit because it's time for us to clean. It's not shower time. So, while we cleaning, ain't nobody taking no showers, right? So we kind of was on him, but some of the other cats said something to him, but we really didn't press the issue, right? So he get his little quick shower. Okay, cool. He's walking out, and when he's walking out the shower, some brothers is going in there to clean the shower. Now I want to say it was like 2 or 3 brothers who went up in there to clean the shower, right? So when they go in there to clean the shower, they see a pair of pants with shit in them. So we like, hold the hell on. Who in the hell would, first of all, shit in some pants and then leave the pants in the shower, right? So I hadn't seen the youngster take the shower, right? And most other people didn't see the youngster go take the shower, but a handful of the brothers did see him go take the shower, right? He did it so quick because the SAs came out of their meeting, and before they was even out the shower good, he run up in the shower, take a shower real quick, then we get to cleaning. Like I said, somebody had said something to him about that, but most of us didn't see it. So they let me know. They like, freeze, man. Somebody done shit in the shower. I'm like, for real? So I go look. I'm like, oh my goodness, damn. Mess me up, right? So the brothers, we all start, making each other privy to what's going on in the shower. So because the SAs had just came out the shower, we under the assumption that one of them was the ones that shitted in the shower. So we got a problem. So after we discover this shit in the shower, we have a meeting in the shower. Right, so we in there talking. Of course, like I said, I'm the Mac rep at the time, so we in there discussing what's going on, man. And I'm telling the brothers, like, look, man, I'm not with cleaning nobody's shit up, but especially not no shit from, another group of people, right? So we was under the impression that they probably had shitted out some dope, because sometimes that happens in the county jail, right? For those of y'all unfamiliar. So a lot of times cats will come into the county jail and they'll do what's called hoop, which to hoop something is to put it up your wazoo. So a lot of cats who coming in off the streets, they'll hoop something, and then when they get housed, they'll push that shit out, and they'll have dope, you know what I mean, all kind of stuff. And that's, obviously to get the dope out, you got to push it out. Sometimes you might have to shit it out along with some shit. So this is what we done made up in our minds. We done made up in our minds that one of them done pushed some dope out, and in the process they left this shit in the shower during their meeting. And then when they left out the meeting, they just left the shit right there, knowing that it's our turn to clean the dorm. So I'm telling the brothers, like, look, man, I'm not cleaning that shit up. You dig? So I'm finna go get at them about this shit. And if they don't want to clean it up, then, it's about to go up. I'm ready for that shit to go up, because I'm not cleaning, especially not after no other race. Hell no. Right? So a lot of the brothers is like, the majority of the brothers is with me. They like, shit, okay, if it got to go that way, then it got to go that way. Let's go. Right? So we all amped up. We mad because we like, man, I can't believe these fools done left shit in the shower and they know it's our turn to clean. Didn't clean up after they said, we tripping. So somebody finally spoke up and they was like, hold on, Freeze. I don't think no SA did that. Right? And then the homie it was a cat in there from Showline. I don't want to call his name, but it was a brother in there from Showline. He was kind of in my age group. Actually, it was a couple of brothers in there from Showline, but this one brother who was from Showline was in there. He was in my age group. He get that dude. He was like, hey, cuz, didn't you just take a shower? And the dude from Harlem, he had a towel on. Now, when I seen him with the towel on, I'm thinking that he's about to take a shower after this meeting. But apparently a lot of other people thought the same thing. But he had already taken a shower. So the brother from Showline, he like, which Vintage Showline Crip, for those of y'all who don't know. The brother from Showline, he like, hey, cuz, didn't you just come out of here? Didn't you just take a shower? And he was like, he didn't know what to say. He kind of like, he a real skinny dude. He probably like 6'1", 165 pounds. If that, he's skinny. And he ain't, you can see it in his face that he ain't about that life at all, right? He claiming the gang, but that was another thing too. There's a lot of people in there, even prior to this, that was questioning whether or not he really was from Harlem, but come to find out he really was. But anyway, didn't you just take a shower? And he just got this look like he don't know what to say. So then somebody else was like, yeah, this fool did just take a shower. Matter of fact, them is his pants. And they was like, they made him pick the pants up and shit start falling out the pants and everything. So I'm just like, oh man, this is crazy, right? So before we can even say anything to this fool, my homeboy from Long Beach, I ain't gonna say his name, but he about the 20s. he just fire on dude. Bam. Now he hit him just one time. But this one time that he hit him, mind you, he was standing like close to the wall. You know, the shower's got tile walls. So when the homie hit him, and the homie kind of on swole, he like 6'4", but he built like LeBron James, but he just ain't as tall as LeBron, but he tall. He like 6'4". Just picture somebody built like LeBron, but 6'4". That's him. So he got a little muscle mass on him and shit. And the homie fire on him, bow, crack him one time. And when he crack him, his head hit the wall, the back of his head hit the wall. And then he falls to the ground. Like he slide down and he like sitting against the wall when he slide down. But when he slide down, his front tooth is protruding through his top lip. So when he got punched in the mouth, that cut his tooth cut his mouth open to where his tooth was sticking out of his top lip. Shit was crazy. So we like, damn. Now this is where I made the mistake. I made the mistake because what I should have did was immediately had him go, you know, to medical or whatever, right? But and mind you, I'm only 22, right? So it's cats in there that's in their 30s and 40s, and I'm kind of like halfway listening to them. You know, they've been going to jail since I was in elementary school and shit. So I'm kind of listening to them, and they kind of advised me to make him get on bunk status. So that's what I did. I made him get on his bunk, lip busted, head busted, all the shit, right? So he in hella pain, understandably so. So he keep pleading with me. He like, Freeze, man, let me go to medical, man. Come on, Freeze, man. Like, I'm in pain. This shit hurt, man. Like, come on, man. I'm like, nah, man, you done fucked up, man. You gotta stay on bunk status. So finally, after probably like maybe a couple hours, I want to say it was probably the homie Cat. I think it was. I think Cat, shout out to Cat from Roller 60s. Cat was like, man, go ahead and send the youngster to medical, man, so he could see about that. So then finally, like I said, it'd been a couple hours past. I finally let him go to medical. Now, you know, that kind of like proved to be a problem because so much time had passed and the wound wasn't just like fresh, you know what I mean? But the script that we told him to tell the people as to what happened was that he fell in the shower, right? So so he go out there, he go to medical, he tell people he fell in the shower, but they not going for it. They know damn well this fool didn't fall in the shower. They thinking he done got jumped by 10 dudes. That's the way he looked. Way his mouth, head busted, all the shit. They thinking he done got jumped. So they want to find out who jumped him. So fast forward to breakfast time. Now, during this time, for breakfast, they would have the carts outside of the dorm in the hallway. And the breakfast would be a muffin, milk and cereal, and probably like a piece of fruit, like a banana or an apple or something. But anyway, we would have to walk in a single file line into the hallway and walk around kind of like in a circle to get our breakfast, right? So when we go out to the hallway to get our breakfast, they got dude in the Browns, which at the time Browns was medical. I don't know what it is now, but the Browns was the medical. So they got him in the brown jumpsuit sitting on the bench, and they trying to see if he give a reaction if he sees whoever did what to him, right? So we go out to the hallway to get our breakfast. We see dude sitting on the bench. We like, damn. So, but don't nobody trip, and he didn't give no reaction to nobody in particular, right? So we go in, we get our breakfast, everything. So then later on that morning, one of the deputies come and he pulls all the Mac reps out. So he pulled me, the Southsider rep, the Wood rep, and the Piside rep. He pulled us all out to the hallway, right? And he like, what happened? Everybody like, I don't know what happened. Now, the me now would look at that suspiciously, like, why are you bringing out every race for something that happened to a black man? But this is how the police play games. This is how they pit people against each other, all this bullshit, right? So they do that, right? And then, of course, nobody say nothing, but then they bring us all back into the dorm. So they like, damn, Freeze, what that was about? And I was like, yeah, they was asking what happened to dude. Of course, everybody said they don't know what happened, or he fell in the shower. I said he fell in the shower. The other races said they don't know what happened. So, they come back again, like that evening, and they pull all the reps out again. They say, look, if we don't find out what happened to dude and who did it to him, we gonna roll all of y'all up, right? Meaning all the Mac reps. So we all still saying, everybody sticking to their story, like, I don't know what happened with the whoop. So I go in and I tell the brother what they said. I said, man, they said I might end up getting rolled up because they said if they don't find out what happened to dude, they're gonna roll all the Mac reps up, and ain't nobody telling what happened, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rolled up. So sure enough, that's what happens. They come back, give us an opportunity to tell who did what. Everybody stick to their story. So they end up rolling up all the Mac reps from each race, all 4 of us. They roll us up, right? So I end up going to Wayside, East Max, and probably maybe 2 months later, I see the Mac rep from the Southsiders. But 1, he was kind of surprised to see me. And then 2, his energy was kind of like funny. And I seen him, his name was Reggie. I'll never forget. I'm like, oh, Reggie, what's up, man? And he like seen me and he was like, oh shit. Like, he said what's up to me, but I could tell his energy was like, it was way different. You know what I mean? Me and him had been in the dorm for like a couple months together at least. And I never seen his energy the way it was when we seen each other in East Max, right? But I always kept that in mind, like, this fool probably the one who told. So I never proved that. I was never able to prove that he's the one who told, because they did end up finding out who did what to the young man. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But yeah, I think dude told. And that's why he was like, 1, he was shocked to see me, because they probably made some type of agreement with him, like, yeah, you ain't gonna run into none of them, but we ended up in the same dorm. But like I said, I always kept that in mind. So fast forward, I go to the pen. So the homie Dirty Red is in the pen from 19 Gangsters, Long Beach, right? 19 Gangster Crib, 19th Street. I see the homie Dirty Red in the pen, right? Now, Dirty Red was there in the county when all this shit happened. And Dirty Red was like, man, Freeze, what happened to you when you was in the dorm with us, man, with the whoop? So I explained to him. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, man, because, it was buzzing around that you had told on the homie, because the homie ended up, he ended up getting charged with assault. And, people was trying to say that you told on him and da-da-da. I'm like, hell no. Right? So Dirty Red, he wasn't, once I said that I definitely didn't tell, Dirty Red, he left it alone, and we stayed on the yard for a whole year after that, and everything was cool, right? So, but in my mind the whole time, that's what really, like I said, I already got in mind that the dude Reggie, the Southsider rep, he was acting funny when he seen me in East Max, and then Dirty Red told me that shit. So I'm like, that fool Reggie probably told on the homie, you know what I mean? But, you know, they rolled everybody up to make it look like, you know, they didn't single nobody out. It wasn't like because he told, they only rolled the rest of us up and didn't roll him up because he told. Nah, to keep his cover, they rolled all of us up. But again, like I said, this is the type of games that they play to pit races against each other. And, you know, pit people against their own people, right? Like, you know, the police doing that move the way that they did had my people thinking that I was the one that told, right? So man, and mind you, the homie ain't no joke. The homie who did the shit, he's a known unaliver in the streets. You know what I mean? He is nobody to play with, right? Like, everybody in the city know about this dude. They know his reputation. He's not nobody to play with. So fast forward, I get out the pen, and I'm at the studio one day, right? Now, the studio that I'm at, the owner of the studio, the owner of the studio is cousins with the homie that I was in the county with, right? So I'm at the studio one day. Guess who walk in? The homie. So I'm like, what's up? You know what I mean? So he like, yeah, Freeze, let me holler at you outside real quick. So I'm thinking like, damn, he probably on that bullshit. But he just confronted me on some man shit, and I told him on some man shit. He, you know, so we step outside. He like, yeah, cuz, man, what's this shit? They talking about you told on the nigga, cuz, like, you know, Freeze, I thought we was homies. Like, you know, then, you know, they end up charging me with that shit. You know, then I end up in the pen with the fool daddy. I had to beat his daddy up. I'm like, damn. I didn't laugh at the time, but in my, you know, just talking about it now, it's crazy. Like, you know, because the daddy, he ended up on the yard with the dude who he did the shit to in the county. He ended up on the yard with dude father. Dude father want to run the fade because, you know, you done beat up my son. So you know what I mean, he got you know, knocked out like his son got knocked out, you dig? But the homie like, yeah, man, you know, I ended up having to fight that fool daddy, you know what I mean? Then I you know, they done charged me with the shit. I ended up, you know, getting an extra charge behind that, and they, you know, everybody was talking about that you told. I'm like, look, man, I'm sitting here looking you in the eye for real, you know what I mean? Like, hell no. You know, and I was like, on the real, I think it was that fool Reggie that told. And I explained to him how I seen him in East Max and his energy was funny and all that old type of shit. And it's just messed up. Like, I ain't gonna lie. You know, it's a messed up feeling when somebody try to insinuate that you did some shit like that and you know damn well that you didn't. It's like, ugh, you know what I mean? But the homie, apparently he believed me, he honored it, and we was cool after that and never had no problems after that, you dig? So I guess because he knew me and he knew my character, he probably didn't want to believe it, but because so many people was spreading that bullshit, he still had the question in his mind. And then all the bullshit that he had to go through and the way that they rolled me up with everybody else, it did look kind of suspect. But like I said, this is the type of games that the police play, right? But when I addressed it to him and I looked him in the eye, and as dangerous as he is, I wasn't on no scary shit, you know what I mean? And he know I know how dangerous he is and all that type of shit, but you know, I didn't show no fear. I wasn't acting scary, and I looked him dead in the eye and told him what it was, and he honored the shit, you know what I mean? And you know, we didn't have no problem after that, man. But That's my LA County story for the day, man. Hopefully y'all enjoy that joint. Until next time, let that marinate on your mind. Freezes it. And this right here, this that love juice, man. Go ahead, put some love in your body like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out.
Let's go. You see, I, the God anointed, game appointed PI since knee high. Knew that God appointed me to be fly. My reply to the blessing, only one decision for me, man, that integrated and demonstrated it's obligatory. Okay. So begins the story, these blessings I'm not in tune with.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, yeah, where you been?